Hello and welcome back to a top 8 quarterfinals match between Scribbl and Zangy. Zangy is on Ninjas and Scribbl is on Black-Red Attrition.
So looking at these opening hands, we have a pretty land-heavy hand from Scribbl. So with the Street of Flame Binder, they'll be able to draw out of that. And on the other side, we have a pretty okay hand from Zangy. No Monument to Fall Man, but a variety of 2-drops. And Void Portal will, off the top, will help them find what they need.
They can use it to find Monument, I guess. So again, they're going for a turn 1 fetch into Domain because that's what they can do with their mana base.
So Scribbl's mana is
that's quite.
That's a good one.
Well, I mean, they can't do it right now, but yeah, Wayfarer's Shrine, fetching black, and then...
Yeah, I was going to say it's a bit... Scribble's mana is a bit awkward here, leading with the mountain, not having dual lands. Since if Scribble were to draw a... something they want to unearth out with Ambitious Necromancer, they can actually do Ambitious Necromancer address. But Profane MSA kind of dodges that issue entirely.
But that does mean that they still don't have an Ambitious Necromancer target.
That is true, though. I figure that they could probably find one reasonably soon. Considering that there's a pretty good chance that they can get a hit in with this Profane MSA for the 2/2, and the gift will, with the Phoenix, will dig them quite deep.
So then you can the Geo Crocodile to kill the emissary before it grows. But then that means they spend turn 2 not contributing to the board.
Yeah, well, there's not. Is there anything else that you like Zangy doing here?
Not really. I mean, if Profane Emissary wasn't here, they would have Crocodile Disaruda.
Yeah, I mean, Suzume is really nice to have down, but without Monument to Fall Man, it's kind of hard to abuse Suzume's self-bounce.
Yeah, and something else here. Killing the black creature puts them off Polyp Pool's mana. So now they can't do the Ambitious Necromancer play.
That is true. Though I don't know if there's something that...
Oh, never mind. That doesn't actually do that because, sequencing.
Oh, yeah, did sequencing. Yeah, that does enable this line from Scribble.
So now, I guess Scribble can...
take the legal target.
Yeah.
Avoid Portal.
Well, I guess... Would you consider Scribble lucky here because they actually managed to hit something in Zangy's hand? With the rest?
I think you're hitting a Void Portal, and that's all you're doing. I mean, I don't know like the exact odds on that. I think it's probably, 9 cards? It's probably around 50%. Maybe a bit more.
And I guess they didn't realize that the rest is not Thoughtseize until Zangy had to remind them. And will they be madnessing out the Fiery Temper here? I think they probably do because that's just a free card. Or they're not going to loot.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like looting the Gift of the Phoenix. So even then, you do want the gift to dispel the Fire Template for removal.
Right, but at the same time, you could maybe just want an extra card here. But
it's not really an extra card because you got trading in this Fire Template. This Fire Template is really good here. I mean,
yeah, right.
Right now with the Gift of the Phoenix just carding out to hit the Suzume. And I ran the numbers quickly, and it's about 57% for that duress to hit the Arcasy Reward Portal. Not too bad of odds.
I mean, it's almost half. It's not that high for discard spells.
Well, it's almost 6%.
And now Scribble draws lands, but the good news is they do have rummaging from the Saruda Flamebinders, but...
This is quite a few lands.
They do rummage into more lands.
And they do not have... The only utility land is Quartz Bed, which doesn't really do too much in this matchup.
Yeah,
it's not the worst, but...
It gets rid of Shinrei targets.
So, Zangy finds Gloomco stuck off the top, which is really nice to them, because that lets them run out Transnationalist with Wanderlust to balance up the Fame MSA and keep off a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, and then
As well as running out a second spell.
They also get to play Voiceless Assailant and fetch 2 more Voiceless Assailants. A bit unfortunate that they drew their second copy. Or I guess they're not going for Voiceless Assailant. They're just going to force Scribble to discard a land.
You have to imagine Scribble's pretty happy about this now.
And I guess Transnaturalist bouncing Profane Emissary. Or actually, you can Transnaturalist with Will and Chorus, right? If you really want to be greedy.
That's really greedy. One of the things one of the really nice things about Suited Flamebind in this matchup, in addition to just saying not having any one draws to stop it, is that it is the exile ability.
Right, it's also Grim Lavamancer.
The Grim Lavamancer ability, expensive as it is, does hit a lot of things in Zangy's deck.
Well, so the question here is, will Scribble try to attack in order to draw off Saruya Flamebinder?
I can't imagine they will. Just Ambitious Necromancer gives them so many live draws.
Right. And I guess they're going to play Profane Emissary and then hold up Saruya Flamebinder's ability?
I'd imagine so. So I don't think Zangy has any way to clear the Flamebinder, right?
Crocodile, technically.
Well, that's in Graveyard. No, because it's just a one-up.
They can technically get it back eventually with Shinrei.
Yeah, but it seems like it's kind of a bit hard for Zangy to clear it. So maybe you just want to run out the second one just to avoid any discard shenanigans. But decides to just keep up the activation on the first one.
Yeah, and there's Suzume. The Suzume does dodge the Saruya Flamebinder activation. Zangy's going to run out Voiceless Assailant first.
Yeah, so Scribble's not going to be punished for keeping the Suitu in hand. Zangy could have potentially Suzume back the Wailing Chorus. Get Scribble's last card.
Yeah, but then that doesn't really contribute to the board.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess Suzume's ability is on resolution, so if Scribble wanted, they could.
So yeah, so we can just ping off stuff if you activate Suzume.
Yeah. So what do you like doing with Suitu here?
Let Suzume resolve. Alright. I guess Scribble doesn't realize that it's...
Well, if you want to do it proactively, it's...
Right.
You do it prior to Suzume.
So Transnaturalist is what they're most worried about, which makes sense because right now Scribble is beating down with with one pretty beefy creature.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if they considered shocking the Wailing Chorus or not.
So Gifted Phoenix. So Scribble probably just pitches the Saruda here.
I'm not sure how much I love that.
Okay, Valdez. There you go.
Because it seems like you're really close to getting the 6th land for having both Suitus online. You do have a lot of fuel left. Where it's kind of almost to the point that you can just start dealing 2 to Zangy's face and killing them if you have 2 Flamebinders in play.
So Suzume can infinitely chump something by blocking and then returning.
Yeah, that does cost a life.
Does Zangy have any life gain main deck right now?
I don't believe they do.
Okay, so they are on a clock.
Well, they're on an each 2 flip.
Right.
Stuff. But yeah, besides that, there's nothing. So, sorry, what I talk about? Discarding Suitu there is absolutely fine because Ambitious Necromancer just gets it back.
Right. And Ambitious Necromancer didn't have any other targets in yard.
Yeah.
So they with the 4 voiceless assailants in hand. Okay, and Scribble just...
What do you like naming here off the Valdez?
You know what? After asking that question in chat and reading the replies, I think I'm going to go with the popular opinion and name High.
Interesting. Any particular reason?
I'm following the crowd. Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
I think it's almost a 7-4 vote or something, or High versus low.
Say something witty about choosing lower here, but I can't think of anything.
I mean, in case, So then you can hold back Profane Emissary.
Yeah, so I think the big question is, where are these Surutu Flamebinders pointing at?
Creatures, right? Because then
I
you
mean,
can't
Zangy's
name...
at 9. Suzume takes life.
Right. But yeah, so you want to point at creatures so that you're both taking away opponent's board presence and pinging them.
So, like, what? Are you kind of liking trying to ping an assailant here? Shock it?
Yeah, Silent.
I guess that probably ends up working out, probably.
And yeah, you also
I'll see
clear
what
the way
Scribble
for
does here.
attackers.
Well, it seems kind of hard to get through the Profane MSA with Suzume in play. Seems like it's just going to be dealing 1.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can attack with more stuff and then hold up the Flamebinder activation. They can't really afford to block with Suzume. And, well, I think Scribble's probably doing a wiser choice of just going for blood. So that you don't have to deal with any of the Suzume shenanigans that Zang can try to pull.
Okay, so with this Dust Lieutenant, imagine this is probably being discarded to the gift and trying to find another discard spell.
Yeah. Wait, what happened to Valdez?
Valdez is just in exile, hanging out.
Not even on an adventure?
Hanging out. He'll come back at some point.
Scribble, please at least represent that the card's on an adventure, or else your opponent's not going to realize that you have an extra 4-mana card in hand.
I can't imagine Valdez is too good in this matchup, because it generally ends up with quite a few cards in hand.
Yeah, but technically it could matter.
Yeah, definitely could. Definitely could. So it doesn't look like... so one of the things with Profane MSA is sometimes people run additional demons to go and fetch.
Right.
So like Chijun or Kalia's Abomination, the main choices. And it doesn't look like Scribble has any of those, both of which would be kind of nice to have here.
Well, I guess Scribble doesn't really want to run dead cards in their deck.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they're a discard deck, so they are sort of tight.
Yeah, definitely. And they have pretty low on lands, 21. So getting to 4 or 5 mana, 4, 5, or 6 mana for Jejun or Kalia's Abomination.
So Zang does get initiative down with cards and yards. So if Scribble doesn't deal with initiative this turn, initiative flips, and maybe Zang can start trying to stabilize from there.
Yeah, maybe. Though the thing is that Scribble, I guess this is where Suzume gets very awkward. But Scribble can kind of deal with initiative with if they hit a land here with double Flamebind activation.
Right. Well, I mean, what actually happened this game is that the Ninja's deck didn't draw a Monument to the Fallen Man, so now they have to do all those awkward Suzume shenanigans at sorcery speed. So they can't really do much or interact that well against the opponent.
Yeah, that's true. But the game has kind of stalled a bit. It's not like... And maybe it's just Zangy's creatures match up pretty well against Scribbles.
No, it's literally just Profane Emissary attacking through everything that Zangy's doing.
Yeah, but even just like typically in a lot of matchups, you can get into Surutu, like Ambitious Necromancer, and there's not just these random 2/3s lying around.
Okay,
like even just Flamebinder not being able to hit Suzume on H2 and clear it immediately.
Zangy strips Scribble's last card with Well and Chorus, and notably Dust Lieutenant only triggers during your turn, so that avoids the double discard.
So Scribble decides to spin the land.
I mean, that's wise. They want to find action, and they did find action.
Well, they did, but the thing is that the 6th land lets you double Flamebinder, and Zangy's at 6.
I think the Scribble probably didn't notice that. They just wanted to trigger Dust Lieutenant and draw into something.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, and Valdez is coming down out of nowhere.
Yeah, maybe they just have enough board presence here that they don't need to mess around with Surutus.
Well, if any of their guys connect, then Surutu discards Fire Temper and then whacks Zangy.
Well, yeah, result space thinking, yes, you draw the Fire Temper. But
yeah,
even though an H2 flip is pretty scary, at the same time, 2 Flamebinder hits puts Zangy on to 2, and an H2 costs 3 to activate as well.
Okay. Zangy would have to activate Suzume pre-combat, but Scribble didn't really give Zangy the opportunity to, so will Zangy request a backup?
Wait, why is Zangy wanting to Suzume pre-combat?
Valdez.
Oh, yeah, that would be a thing that would be very good to do.
Although I'm
I don't
not
know
sure
if it
if
matters.
yeah, because if you return something with Suzume, then you're not blocking anything with.
Well, that's the wheeling course. Assailant goes on the Dusk Lieutenant. What? Like
To
an
block.
issue on a Surutu, Suzume on a Surutu. I think this ends up being lethal with the Fire Temper always.
If they didn't have Fire Temper in hand, then Zane would be alive on 1 life. And no, wait, they would, if to bounce something, they would have to pay 1 off Suzume. So yeah, that would be lethal either ways.
Yeah. Well, they can make Zane can make more dangerous blocks. Like that kind of block was killing both Surutus and letting the Profane MSA through.
Yeah, but if you lose your entire board to blocks, then you're not really winning.
Yeah, like you could, yeah, and then Valdez is gonna kind of wreck you on the next turn regardless. But yeah, this seems like this line deals 3 to Zangy and the Surutu will fire temper face. That seems to be the end of game 1.
Yeah.
So looking at sideboards here, I suppose we'll look at Zangy's first. Right, so signed him just by Queen and Dolly. How do you feel about that in this matchup?
What does Queen Lot Dolly hit? Just Valdez?
Valdez, well, it's just protection 3 greater, so it also hits just Lieutenant.
Oh yeah, right.
Ambition.
Actually, yeah, it does make a bunch
It's
of stuff
temper.
not able to block. Oh yeah, right. So Queen Lot Dolly is probably good here.
If you have Gawu,
prevents.
It's basically everything in Duel's deck.
Well, it doesn't hit the 1-drops, but yeah, it does hit everything that matters.
Well, it hits the 1-drops by virtue of being a 2/1 first strike.
Oh yeah, that too.
Like that. Maybe Savid, maybe Journey's End. Shikai's Vita probably comes in.
I guess.
I think it only hits the Necromancer, but that's probably maybe that's not worth it.
Okay, and for Scribbl's side, probably
gets Nikadal Skirmishes.
Yeah, Nikadal Skirmisher and Last Stop maybe. No, it doesn't. No, that doesn't hit anything.
Yeah, I think just Nikadal Skirmisher.
Nikadal Skirmisher, Descent on the Helpless.
Well, I don't know what Descent on the Helpless is necessarily doing in the sideboard. With Scribble having 8 1-power creatures.
Yeah. Well, either way, the game has started, so.
Yeah. I think just Nikadal Skirmishes probably come in.
So looking at their opening hands, they both kept 7. Zangy gets a hand with Monument to the Fallen Man. So it'll be a pretty good game for them. And Scribble probably boarded out all their duresses because it misses half their deck.
Yeah, though at the same time you could argue that just turn 1 duress hitting Monument is such a big deal.
You're basically flipping a sort of weighted coin on that.
Well, the weighted coin is just for hitting for what happened last game. It was a turn 3 duress.
Yeah.
Only can hit Theocracy of Water Bottle. With Monument, it's very likely to hit.
So Zangy draws a Voice Assailant, which is not what they want here. So Zangy...
turn 1, its duress would be about 70% hit.
Okay, yeah, that sounds a lot better.
I don't know if they kept it in, because that's still not... You prefer 100%, obviously. But
yeah. With Finding the Fallen Man, Zangy could either play out Voiceless or Giant Pickpocket, but the thing with Pickpocket is that the opponent wants to discard. So Zangy could have main phase used Monument to play out the Pickpocket in order to avoid the Fiery Temper or whatever else Scribble's, or whatever other discard synergy Scribble's holding.
So this is one of the big differences between being on the play and being the draw of this matchup, where Surutu can't get in and get a losing in. So this Profane MSA, given some different sequencing, so playing the Ambitious Necromancer on turn 1 and then Surutu on turn 2, this Profane MSA could have came down off the Ambitious Necromancer trigger off of Valdez if Scribble was on the play.
Yeah. So Scribble decides to discard Ambitious Necromancer. I guess they didn't really have anything else to discard.
Yeah, and there's all the Parasitic Rebirth to get about.
Right, yeah.
And this is Income Scribble's turn. We'll see a kind of beneficial part of Profane MSA. It just finds your land.
Yeah.
Better for worse, because you're kind of forced to find the land. And in this case, it is a red-black dual land. So Scribble seems it's probably pretty happy about.
They can just run up Parasitic Rebirth.
Yeah.
Or they
And
can.
now, different from game 1, this Profane MSA is going to get in hits here, because Zangy does not have a Suzume to kind of manipulate combat.
Well, they have Shinrei, so they can chomp and then Shinrei back the stuff.
Yeah, but Scribbl is going to be gaining a ton of life, and stuff is going to be dying, because Shinrei can only get back so many things.
So if Zangy doesn't block here, does Scribble discard Fiery Temper and Madness it, or do they just hold up Parasitic Rebirth?
Imagine just hold up Rebirth. I think that's probably a more interesting situation for what Scribble can do. It looks like the damage went through. But Zangy could have monumented in a second Voiceless Assailant and tried to double block. So Swan Cohort comes down, and Swan Cohort is a good way to kind of pull up Zangy's defenses as well as find a Suzume. Or presumably a Suzume.
Yeah. So Zangy does forget to crack their Murky Pete last turn, I think. They probably wanted to crack the Murky Pete because they weren't using that mana anyways.
Yeah, but I don't think it will affect them that much, because they kind of want to crack the Gleaming River here too. And actually, does they Corpse Bed? That might be what they're waiting on.
Right. So
Well, that looks like they do, actually.
So I guess, are they going to be using Corpse Bed here to prevent it? I guess it's probably worth it.
They don't have Corpse Bed.
Oh.
Which, I mean, maybe playing Corpse Bed is too many enters off tap-ons, but it would definitely be very nice here.
So Scribble just fires off Parasitic Rebirth on the Scorn cohort, which allows Zangy to fetch something.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like that. Maybe you kind of... No, I was going to say that a second Scorn cohort would be annoying because it would just eat the Profane MSA with First Strike, but I guess Queen and Dolly and whatnot does similar. But Fire Tempo stops that, so...
Then he fetches Gawu.
Normally, Gawu would kind of be annoying here. Between the Savutu Flamebinder and the Fire Tempers in hand, seems like a kind of non-issue for Scribble.
Does Scribble have anything to return with Ambitious Necromancer?
No.
Okay.
So imagine that. So Gawu seems to be going down here. So how do you like killing Gawu? Probably with the Savutu, I imagine?
Fire Temper is an instant.
Yeah, but so is Savutu.
Right. Actually, yeah, killing anything with Savutu is huge value.
I suppose we could just wait. Yeah, but Zangy decides, or Scribble decides to shock the Gawu.
Okay, yeah, and they get to swing in, and Zangy elects to trade. And
Yeah,
since Scribble's tapped out here, they can't really do anything about that.
Yeah, and I guess attacking those always good because Ambitious Necromancer gets it back.
Yeah, never mind then. Zangy is horribly behind now because they just got Ambitious Necromancer value.
Yeah, and this is another kind of the cascading effects of not having Quartz Bed. It's possible that Zangy can't afford to run it, but it is kind of speaking to how powerful having value from your mana base is.
Well, Scribble names high. I think is that consistent with what they said earlier?
I believe so.
No, I mean, like, when I asked them about whether they would name high or low, they said low because highest is too try hard.
Well, they've named high twice, so maybe they're in a try hard mood.
Well,
they're on the quarterfinals after all.
Yeah. So Zangy just fetching their lands, I guess.
And now, this is looking like a very similar situation as in Game 1, but without Suzume.
But with Monument.
But even with Monument, there's not so much that Zangy can do to abuse it without Suzume, since Shinrei is definitely not getting hits in.
Actually, what did Zangy drop off Monument last turn? Because if they dropped Shinrei down, then they could have started attacking with Shinrei, and then abusing...
They dropped Gawu down.
Okay, yeah, maybe they should have just dropped Shinrei down.
Well, I mean, if they drop Shinrei down, then it just gets shocked by the Surutu, same as Gawu did.
Oh yeah, right, Shinrei is a 2-2, not a 2-3.
So runs out the Pickpocket.
Hitting a Madness card. Yeah, hits a Madness card without being able to Madness it.
So, I guess the good question is, how does Zangy kind of get out of this? Because this Profane MSA seems kind of hard to deal with.
First of all, they would need to draw Suzume.
And actually, not only that, this Valdez is also coming down this turn with haste.
Yeah.
So, is there a way for Zangy to get out of this? It seems like Scribbl's putting down so much pressure that even a Suzume draw might not get them out of this simply because they don't have the life total
Yeah.
to use Suzume.
Do you think Zangy boarded in life gain?
Probably. The White One Dana?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure if I'd be sold on having both copies in. I guess you only have two. Yeah, I kind of like bringing in one just for the Void Portal and the Theocracy.
Right.
Looking through your deck, but really, what Zane might have wanted in sideboard is more Neo Crocodiles to clear up these Suitus and Ambitious Necromancers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's some kind of similar removal on a 2-drop kind of option that Zane might have wanted here. Because now Shinrei does eat the Flamebinder, but its Fire Tempo is just going to get back, and
Yeah.
as well as Shinrei.
Oh, Scribble forgot to return their Flamebinder.
Yeah, unfortunately, no Amelia. I imagine we'll get a
Oh,
grudge.
it's not a May trigger.
Yeah. Well, I assume we'll be getting a grudge call. Yeah, that looks like Scribble's accepting his message.
And
So
maybe
Swan Cohort is probably the best draw Zane could have gotten there, I'd imagine.
what does Sworn Cohort fetch?
I think the answer is literally anything, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Well, Scribble does draw more lands. And now they don't have a looter in play to get rid of them.
Yeah, so I mean, Valda's and Profano face swing in, and Zane clear one or the other, but not both.
Oh, they're chumping now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm in love with this set of blocks, because now saying he fetches Suzume off the one cohort, they don't have anything to bounce to aid the profane MSA.
I think they're just looking to top deck stuff, because otherwise they're not going to win anyways.
I suppose so. I guess if they getting Gawa, interesting.
Well, I mean, Scribble actually doesn't have anything in hand, so yeah. So you can just drop down Gawa and lock up the board.
So,
but if they did do that, then why did they trade off with Valdez?
Well, they need to. They can't really afford to take 5, right?
Right.
Like, imagine that it's quite difficult for Zangy to win the game. That's if they go to 2, because them winning the game seems kind of dependent on them using Suzume, and we don't know whether they brought in any white from the Danas or not. But if they didn't, then I don't see how they're winning the game at 2 life if they need to use Suzume.
And also, Scribble top deck is Flamebinder, and now that's a huge problem for Zangy because Flamebinder can start picking off Zangy's creatures.
Yeah, the Flamebinder deals with Garu, also gets under Queen and Dolly.
Zangy sort of needed to top deck Nigio Crocodile there.
Yeah, definitely would have been an ideal draw. Though even then, they're kind of relying on Scribble not drawing anything to trigger the Ambitious Necromancer.
Well, Scribble draws another land.
Quadspell doesn't really accomplish anything in this matchup.
So I
It can
think
potentially hit Shinrei stuff, but
the Scribble probably just shoots down the Gawu and then swings in with Profane Emissary. And now Zane's forced to make a really uncomfortable block. No, they're not. They're just gonna hold.
Yeah, imagine they'll shoot the Garu end of 10 and then Dolly when they're in tap.
Oh yeah, Theocracy. That's a good top deck for Zangy.
Very good top deck. I think what Scribble was worried about there was Zangy holding a first striker.
Yeah.
Because that would eat the Profane MSA.
Wait, what first strikers are there that's not Gawu? Or Sworn? Oh yes, Sworn Cohort.
Yeah. I guess Zang would only be on the one Sworn Cohort left.
So Zangy fetches Anish too, so if Anisha makes it to next turn, it flips and Zangy can start to try to stabilize.
So imagine Sugutu will hit the Garu here.
Yeah.
So maybe hit the Queen of Dolly first. Also, I don't know how much it matters.
Probably doesn't matter that much. Well, the good news for Zangy is that even if Saruta shoots down Queen of Dolly, Profane Emissary still isn't lethal. They can just let Profane Emissary through for a turn and then flip Nish too.
That is true.
And try to stabilize from there.
Normally in this type of matchup, flip Nish would be game ending. But here it really isn't.
Scribble draws another land.
The Scribble's on 28 life, thanks to this Profane MSA. It's not like NH2 is gonna be killing Scribble anytime soon.
Scribble doesn't kill Queen Dolly first. I guess they don't really know what Zane's holding in hand.
Well, it doesn't super matter whether they can't kill Queen and Dolly or not, since if I guess there's the chump Queen and Dolly option. So maybe if they think that Zhang is holding Suzume, it would matter.
So I guess Zane is deciding whether to chump with Queen Dolly or not. They're trying to figure out if Scribble's holding up a Fiery Temper in hand.
Yeah, I think. So I guess the thing is that letting it through. No, I think you probably should be blocking here because
You let through, then Fiery Temper just straight up kills you.
Yeah, that's definitely very true. I was kind of thinking that the Route is running a bit out of fuel. I think only 4 cards in graveyard. But if this Profane MSA gets through, then that will cause a looting. So
Yeah, so Zane just chumps, which is
makes
the correct play here, or at least it turns out to be the best play here for Zangy, because Scribble's still stuck with 3 lands in hand.
Yeah, so at 32 life, does this Anish 2 actually win the game?
Well, this is let Zangy gain life.
It does, but really, I'm not sure Zangy's deck can deal with a Profane MSA. I guess Transnaturalist is the answer to everything.
Well, no, the initiative blocks Profane Emissary.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about surviving. I'm talking about winning.
They could just discard Lock Scribble.
I suppose at some point they'll be able to do that, but at this point, I mean, 2 Gaiwan pickpockets on yard. Then have 3 discard pieces left, and it's not like Shinrei can really get through, right?
No.
Yeah. So he mentions that Anisha is not a rogue.
Oh, if any direct creature other than Shinrei there, they could have played the creature sacked with Shinrei and then swung.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Shinrei's sacrifice ability could come in handy here.
Zane doesn't play their land.
But wait, no, it doesn't come in handy because Suidu will ping off the Shinrei.
But Shinrei can sack itself, so Saritu's ability won't resolve, which does absolutely nothing.
Oh,
but
no.
at least you're not giving the satisfaction to your opponent of killing something with their 1-drop.
Yeah, so it seems here like Zangi's kind of just doesn't have an answer to this.
2 Profane Emissaries.
Yeah, I know this. Well, yeah, Profane Emissary partly, but also just this Suited Flamebinder. Well, at least definitely not without a Suzume. It's definitely became a very interesting game here.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see Scribble run out the quartz bed at some point. Exile like both Garus or both pickpockets or something.
Yeah. Do they have anything else to fetch lands? Or is it just corpse bed?
Don't believe Scribble has any utility lands besides quartz bed. Yeah, just the quartz bed and the pulse balls in terms of utility lands.
Well, Zane has a 3 counter Theocracy, so if they ever want to try to attack, then they technically do have the ability to.
Yeah, though they can't really afford to attack when these two, because these 2 Profane MSIs will just gain back the full life.
Yeah, but I guess they can tap down Flame Barons to force Scribble to preemptively shock stuff.
Yeah, the Scribble's not on that much gas left in the tank for Flamebinder.
Right, Flamebinder isn't infinite. So Zangy has more gas for initiative than Scribble has for Flamebinder right now.
Yeah, though even if Zangy exiled their entire graveyard, that only does 14 damage to Scribble, and Scribble still at a healthy 16 life points.
So Transnaturalists, okay. They're not going to do Transnaturalists on the opponent's turn. Oh yeah, I guess that does prevent Surreal Flamebinder from shooting down Shinrei.
Yeah, there is a very slow way about going about it.
Is Zane just going to keep the Murky Pea in hand in order to bluff?
Well, that's what they've been doing this entire game.
Is there ever a reason for Zane to go up to 5 lands?
Well, Anish do. I mean, playing at the Murky Pea here lets them use up their graveyard faster.
Right. I guess, does that really matter here?
I'm not sure. So what is Scribble looking to draw here? Probably just Gift of the Phoenix.
Gift of the Phoenix. Fiery Temper.
Yeah, most of the time these Black-Red decks don't have an answer to Niche 2, or flipped Niche 2, but Scribble actually has own doing math work here.
Right.
Which is a very clean answer to Niche 2.
Do you think they boarded it out, or is that insane?
I'm not sure why they would board it out. It seems kind of hard for Zangy to deal with it. Because on the +1, like, we were kind of seeing how difficult Zangy has, the difficulty Zangy has had dealing with these profane MSEs.
Okay, Zangy
And
does.
a 5/5 profane MSE that's also indestructible seems pretty darn good.
Zangy finally drops their Murky Pete in order to hold up more initiative activations.
And additionally, I don't think Zhang has gotten a single attack in this game. It's not like Mafu was in much danger.
Scribbl actually does draw the Gift of Phoenix.
Very, very good draw.
Parasitic Rebirth doesn't actually kill an Niche 2.
So honestly, drawing a second Parasitic Rebirth is a relevant scenario here with how late game this game has gone on.
Well, I mean, Parasitic Rebirth does kill Shinrei.
Yeah. And that will be a very relevant thing, since it will prevent Zane from getting anything back in the yard. Going to attacking with, I guess, yeah, attacking with the famous phase is kind of free, since the Parasitic Rebirth it gets back the Suitu, so the Necromancer doesn't have to.
And then he's just gonna let one of the Profane Emissaries through.
Yeah, and I guess getting the Suitu discard rummaging is also kind of a huge deal.
So the thing with Murky Pete is that the Murky Pete is pinging Zane, so they're only getting one life net from Anish 2.
And then Dusk Lieutenant is another good draw here for Scribble.
Well, I don't think it really does much against an empty-handed opponent.
Yeah, I guess you can't Dusk Lieutenant draw step, because that would be kind of unfun card. But even just getting more source of rummaging to find more Parasitic Rebirths or whatnot, it's very nice. So I imagine we'll see Cloudstone Rift and the Dusk Lieutenant.
Yeah, and I guess they're holding up Parasitic Rebirth.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of the virtues of being a 2-color deck is that Goba has a lot of vegetables, meaning the full playset of both Lavatone Fields and Crumbling Precipice. So that's not going to be a concern for them.
Yeah. Zane's just going to end up turning Shinrei, and I'm assuming Scribble's just going to kill that.
Yeah, no reason to wait. Since with 0 cards in hand, Scribble knows that Zane does not have a Suzume to save it.
Now, despite trading blow for blow this game, Scribble has the board once again.
Yeah, that kind of speaks to the power of Ambitious Necromancer, as just this deck in general with Parasitic Rebirth.
Yeah, and now Zane is forced to deal with Profane Emissary all over again.
Yeah. And this is definitely one of the weaknesses of ninjas, where all these things with ninjas, that without a discard engine going on, there's not really any ways for Zane to clear anything. I mean, this Suji Flamebinder is the one that just came back into play. It's the same one that Scribble played on turn 1, and Ambitious Necromancer has been on board since turn 2.
Yeah. Is that the third Shinrei that Zane has drawn?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, not the third, the fourth.
Oh, I'm sure Zane really wishes that the Shinrei were a Suzume instead.
Yeah, probably. So, will Scribble sniff out this fourth Shinrei deception? Does not look like they do. That's actually pretty huge for Zane.
Huh. I mean, what would Scribble actually be worried about if they blocked here?
Well, they're just kind of trading down.
So the Flamebinder is a 1-drop, Transnaturalist is a 2-drop. They're not really trading down.
Oh, I was thinking of block with the Dusk Lieutenant.
Oh.
I won't risk my precious Suji Flamebinder. Because this is kind of a similar game situation as game 1, where Zang's at 6. Yeah, they have a niche too, but 2 Suji Flamebinders will outclock a niche too, on virtue of Scribble having more lands.
Well, Zane's also returning something from Yard.
So what do you like here? Sworn Cohort?
Sworn Cohort, yeah, probably Sworn Cohort, because everything else just gets killed.
I guess Pickpocket does a draw step block for 10, though.
Dust Lieutenant. Because if you try to draw step block them, then you're also discarding your own hand.
Yeah, well, presumably this Transnaturalist would come down, so Zangy would be empty-handed.
Well, then they would be tapped out of an Initiative 2 activation.
That is true, yeah. And at that point, they might just be They'd be dead to Flamebinder, and then upkeep Flamebinder.
Yeah, Zangy really needed to draw a life gain creature there.
Yeah. Well, I think if they brought one in, because the only life gain they have is with the white one Ordainers, and that does not seem like particularly exceptional in this matchup. Then maybe you do need it.
It blocks Flamebinders and Vicious Necromancers, which...
Well, so does everything, right?
Yeah. So if Zane doesn't decide to keep up an H2 activation this turn, they can finally sack the Murky Peat block for something that doesn't ping them.
That is true, though. It is kind of getting to the point where they're just becoming dead.
They do get Garu. Maybe they're trying to diverge the Flamebinders from their life total.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't think that does anything. I think that's just kind of worse than grabbing this one cohort. Because now, I guess. Oh yeah. So what Zane needs to do here to not die is Monument in the Transnaturalist and bounce a Flamebinder. But actually, even then they die because there's the option of shooting both of the two ones.
Yeah.
So Zane decides to Transnaturalist the Profane MSA. But now, because of the Omen, putting the 8th card in the yard. Wait, what am I talking about? Scribble don't have 12 mana. I was thinking you need to wait on this. Not that it probably matters, but now Scribble can pass the turn, double Flamebinder, end of turn. And if Zane doesn't draw a land, and they've only have one in each two activation, and they will die.
Oh,
or they can try and do a combat thing.
They will be swinging in, I think.
I guess if they clear both of the 2/1s, then that also puts Zane down to 2, I guess 1, with the Ambitious Necromancer also getting in.
Scribble deciding to sack the Garu to Shinrei instead of letting it die honorably to Saruda Flamebinder.
Yeah, you gotta get every advantage you can get. Shinrei can't be blocked this time. Really, when you're behind, you need to make sure that you're not missing anything, right? I'm supposed to hit the Shinrei.
Well, I guess Shinrei can't attack this turn either because it's dead.
Well, but it can't be blocked, Ricky.
Yeah, it can't be blocked because it's dead.
But also because it's sacked the creature, so it can't be blocked. And it can't be blocked.
Yeah.
So the 6th land is not... Yeah, I don't know.
Zangy forgets to crack their Murky Peat once again.
Yeah, it looks like Zangy... sorry, no, that's Scribble in chat. Yeah, so it looks like Zangy just kind of ran out of resources in every sense of the word. Where they need lands for niche 2 to do anything to like, kind of get out of the life total hole. They need life, though, to both survive and if they drew Suzume. And they need creatures, but they can't afford to keep creatures because the life total is so low.
Yeah.
So really, it seems like this Black-Red Attrition deck did what it was supposed to do and attritioned out the non or less attrition deck, I suppose.
Zangy's just going to concede here. I guess.
So Zangy's doing the math, and math's for blockers, and he decides that's game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of speaking to the power of this Unearth deck, where, though maybe even more so speaking the flaws of the Ninja deck, where these kind of utility creatures can get down a long game, and there's no way for the, I guess, Journey End was a card that could get them out of it, but there's no way for the Ninja deck to kind of go up over top of these kind of attrition 1 to 3 drops.
Yeah, all you can really hope to do is lock them out.
Yeah.
And then hopefully they don't have too much on board when you do.
Yeah, very true. So even in this particular matchup, even if they had set up a lock, both Fire Temper and Parasitic Rebirth are both very powerful ways to get out of that lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were kind of slow, methodical games. Not terribly by choice, I think, by the player, but just with how the matchup kind of played out. It seemed like there was kind of glimpses of hope in Game 1. But Game 2 seemed like Zane could not really get anything going all 4 Shinreis before a single Suzume. Well, I guess maybe there's a chance that Suzume was sided out, though that seems very unlikely.
Yeah.
But Scribble takes the first quarterfinal game, and we'll play either Pipsqueak on Fuse or Hamid Tribal on Abzan Rooney. Neither of which I think they'd be very happy to play against, but you gotta make do sometimes.
Yeah. At least they have discard against Infuse.
Yeah, the sideboard is limited to 4 Memento Mori, which is not super where you want to be against Infuse. No, that's bad, but I don't think it would necessarily fix the matchup.
Yep.
Against Abzan Weenie, maybe they have a better shot, but it seems like Abzan Weenie is just kind of a slightly bigger version of their deck in some ways, kind of in the same way that Black Red Attrition is a slightly bigger version of Ninjas.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens in the semifinals.